Hello and welcome to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton and we come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. Well, I want to talk about being a grandparent today. I don't know about you, but all the stuff that I see going on around the world just kind of shakes me to my socks, to put it as Christian as I can. It really is disturbing for people and disturbing for me. Now, most of you who follow this show know that this show is called Exploited Crimes and Technology because I work in combating human trafficking and social media exploitation. That means helping keep kids from sending those naked photos online so they don't get blackmailed, or trying to convince a young lady that she does not want to hook up with that guy she met on the internet because she likes his tattoos, and, try to convince her that that isn't going to work out for her and she is going to change her life and pay a heck of a price if she goes down that road. So I have been doing this for about 12, 15 years. And in the last couple of months, I've really gone through a transition emotionally. And I don't normally share with people about what it's like, but people do ask me, Opal, how do you do what you do? Because it's so negative. Well, it is negative to combat trafficking. I'll say that, but we're always the solution. And that is why I do what I do. I don't run a victim service shelter. I support groups that do, but we serve as the training and outreach coordinator for the Riverside County Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force. That means that I report to the sheriff department, and I also have several other jobs over at USC and LA Fire Training Academy and things like that, where I can train people to go in and investigate crimes and find the victim and like that. But what I have seen in the values in the last 6 months throughout not only the United States, but specifically here in California, has been extremely disturbing for me. And so even though I've been in it 12 years, I question my sanity at times. I really wanted to take time over the past few weeks and step back and kind of do a moral and emotional inventory of myself about what can we do differently. Those of you who follow this show know that about 3-4 weeks ago, Governor Newsom signed a bill called SB 357. And it was just, for me, a tragedy. I don't believe that it is a healthy move for our state of California. I spent probably way too much money trying to educate all of you. And now I'm having to beat the streets for fundraising. But I wanted all of you to know that this is coming down and for us to do everything we could to stop it. And we are unable to do that. The bill is now signed, and though it doesn't go into effect until January 1st, we're already seeing the impact of that bill. And the reason I say that is that bill basically makes it so law enforcement can no longer intervene in soliciting or loitering for soliciting for prostitution. And already we have seen an increase in the amount of what we call streetwalkers, people who are out on the street soliciting sex. The reason for that, of course, is the fact that there is a clause in there that says if you've been arrested for that, whether you're buying or selling, that you can appeal and get that off your record. So already pimps are gearing up for this because they know law enforcement isn't going to be able to change that. And they'll be able to get it off their record. And already we've seen an increase around Southern California of street prostitution. Well, I had to step aside for a little while. I went on a trip. I've kind of got back into my artwork. I'm a glass artist. If you don't know, I think I'm going to try to find a way to tie in my glass artwork. I'm also an acrylic painter at times, and I think I'm going to try to maybe put up an online gallery at millionkids.org where I can share it. And I don't know if I'll sell it or just share it with you. But I decided during the time that I stepped back that one of the things that is important in our life is our age and the value. I myself am a grandparent, and in fact, I just lost my daughter to COVID this last year, and it was very, very difficult time. And she has children. Unfortunately, two of them are in Australia, so I only see them on Zoom. But fortunately, I'm very computer literate, so that helps. But as I've watched the values of our nation, of our states, from my point of view, deteriorate, I wanted to just share with you how important I think it is as grandparents that we are able to be good grandparents and incorporate sharing the concept of personal values, of personal self-worth, of that sense of right and wrong. And I've been talking with several grandparents of late, and we have been saying, that we can get away with things that other people don't get away with. I may actually put together a class that I offer out for some fee in there about how grandparents can make a difference by understanding how social media works and having a relationship with their child where they can communicate in today's terminology and talk about how predators and pedophiles use social media so that it isn't just scary, but it's a means of being able to incorporate with our kids about things like digital morality, being able to share the various apps and games with grandparents and being able to talk about it. So, I just wanted to spend the rest of today talking about the values of grandparenting, whether you're a grandma or grandfather or a great grandma, a grandfather, or a grandma to be or a grandpa to be. But there is a link between the generations that make you absolutely invaluable. And that's really one of the things I wanted to cover today. In fact, there have been some studies here about research from University of Oxford show that children who have grandparents' involvement have fewer behavior and emotional problems. There's also another study out in the gerontologists. They reported that there is a lower risk of depression in young adults who spend time with their grandparents. Now, of course, it probably depends on who the grandparent is and how the grandparent behaves. But I think this is important because we're seeing two major factors in our world that are changing. Number one, everybody is online and almost everybody is addicted to their devices, number one. And number two, we are seeing the government show values that maybe we don't approve of. And here is an opportunity for us not to just step back feeling impotent and overwhelmed, but in fact, to recognize our value, because I believe it's really, really important. I believe that grandparents have an opportunity to share their legacy with that next generation. Share stories of the family and show pride in your family. Show the photos, the old-fashioned photos. Talk about how old-fashioned photos were made. We don't have TikTok 30 seconds when you're born in 1935, okay? Talk about fun things like party line phones and pagers. I saw YouTube. You might even look it up on YouTube if you're computer literate. Look it up. I saw YouTube one time. Teenagers were trying to understand what a payphone was. They were sitting there and they couldn't figure out how come it only went 3 feet and you had to put money in it, and they couldn't figure out how to text on it. And look at some of the first computers and show them to kids about how you were, going to figure out how to even go online. And I think it's important for you to prepare yourself to be informed. Talk about how the internet is made, when the first computers happened. Share that research with them and get them to research it with you so that they can show it back. And talk about how far it didn't work, okay? How it was always crashing down and it didn't have any virus control. You were always losing it. And share some of that history with your kids because your kids are going to be online. They're the first generation in the entire world history, where they can reach the entire world, but the entire world can reach them. As grandparents, let's show them how to do it right. We're up against that break. I'll be right back.
Listen up, folks. You no longer have to drive out of the IE for a great restaurant experience. The Toasted Barrel, an upscale casual steakhouse located in Corona, has been winning award after award for their great diverse menu, service, ambience, wine, and cocktails. Customers call the Barrel the perfect date night. Inland Empire Magazine has awarded them Best Restaurant 4 years in a row. Wine Spectator recognized the Toasted Barrel's wine program for their award of excellence. Toasted Barrel is famous for their certified Angus beef, prime, Wagyu, and Kobe steaks, and they have some of the best pasta and seafood around. With happy hour and daily specials every day of the week, their appetizers and drink selections are the best around. Live music starts every Friday and Saturday at 5:30. Planning a dinner party, wedding rehearsal, family gathering, or holiday party? Look up Toasted Barrel online and make your reservation today.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited, Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited, Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590, The Answer.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sellers and buyers recognize that these low interest rates will not last. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited, Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton and we're talking about the value of being a grandparent in this day and age. One of the things that stimulated me to talk about this particular subject, because I was doing my show prep, I get the Internet World Stat News on a regular basis. Because I believe one of the factors that make being a grandparent so important is to understand where you're at in this time in history and get your children and your grandchildren to understand where they're at in this time in history. I just got a statistic that showed that the population of all the Americas, now that's North America and South America, is now over 1 trillion people. Okay. Now it's starting to feel like they've all moved to the U.S. I don't know, based on all the news reports. But in America, there are 892 million individual internet users. And out of 892 million, 831 of them subscribe to Facebook. Now, I want you to think about the power of that because most of our kids now are not on Facebook. A lot of them are on Facebook Messenger where they can private what they call DM, direct message. But that's like an 80-90% penetration. That is a lot of power for one organization to be able to impact the world. Now, I don't have the numbers here in front of me for TikTok, but I'd be willing to bet you that they're very close there. And the number of people that are involved with TikTok. And it is the way of the future. So grandparents need to be able to understand the world that they still live in, but be able to connect the values of the world that they grew up in. And I'm going to tell you, this is important. I was thinking about being a grandparent. One of the most important values you have there is the pride of being involved with something bigger than yourself. The legacy that you leave as an individual, and also help them understand the legacy they are going to leave as an individual. I really think that's an important discussion to have with those, preteens and teenagers, because one of the challenges in becoming a teenager is you really don't know who you are. And you're really kind of going back to kind of pull in that savings account that you build up all your savings account of knowing and taking inventory of who likes you and who believes in you, as well as trying to figure out who you are about to become and what kind of person you want to be. And that is when you really want to emphasize the value of the legacy of your family. The fact that they're bigger than something besides themselves. Every now and then, my husband likes to watch Blue Bloods, and they have those Sunday evening dinners where they talk about world events and private events, and they give their opinions, and people, even though they don't agree, listen respectfully. Well, that is some of the power of being a grandparent. You can set and share your values. Share them as stories of your family. Look at the fun of it. Share the photos. Try out fun things with them. You can get away more as a grandparent, but it's important that you are empowering your grandchild, not enabling them. And it's also important that you have a two-way conversation. Humor is much better than correction. We all like humor much better than somebody setting us down and go, I don't like this about you. You immediately get defensive. By the way, that works well in marriages too. Nobody wants to feel like they don't measure up. Everybody can use a little kidding every now and then. So find your grandchild's strengths and embellish them and have fun with that. And have fun if they're not making the cut for whatever reason. Talk with them, get them to tell you, what do you don't like about yourself? And then what are you going to do about that? And what you don't like about yourself, is it all that important? Or can we have some fun with it and have more fun with what they like about themselves? Help them accept themselves. That is such an important thing. You accept them as they are. One of the things that I saw as I was preparing for this show is a bunch of quotes about grandparents. Grandparents are there to help the child get into mischief they haven't thought of yet. Grandparents can be very special resources. Just being close to them reassures a child without words about change and continuity, about what went before them and about what will come after. That's Fred Rogers. Most of you are too old to know who that is. I love this one, Irma Bombeck. A bunch of you won't know who that is either. A grandmother pretends she doesn't know who you are on Halloween. I know you've loved me since I was born, but I've loved you my whole life. You don't really understand something unless you can explain it to grandma. Young people need something stable to hang on to, a cultural connection, a sense of their own past, a hope for their future. Most of all, they need what grandparents can give them. I like all of these quotes on these. something magical happened when parents turned into grandparents. Love is the greatest gift that one generation can leave to another. I think we need to step back. That's Richard Garnett that said that, by the way. I think we need to step back and process that and what it's all about. You see, one of the things that I learned is that we only have so much time in your lives. Now, many of you that have followed my personal story know that about 5.5 years ago, I lost my husband, who was my partner, my love, my friend. We were together 44 years and we had an amazing marriage. And those 2 years of not having in my life were some of the hardest times of my life. Hopefully, I grew through that time. And I was very, very fortunate. Grover Trask, some of you may know him. He was the district attorney for Riverside. He and Cindy introduced me to Dr. Ken Hendershot, and we became friends and we became married. And he now and I have been together about 3 years. But one of the things he and I talk about is that the average human life is relatively short. We learned during those 2 years, he was widowed. He lost his wife to the same thing I lost my husband to. And we learned during that time that life is short. We don't know how long we'll have together, he and I, but we're having the time of our life. We have great friends and we have great times. We met and we agreed right off the bat, we're set in our ways. And when you marry at our age, it isn't going to be easy, but we are having a great time. You will only ever live life you create for yourself. I love that line. And I think that line is so important to share with our grandkids because we don't know if our grandkids are going to live to be adults and old like ourselves, or they're going to live only a short time. But one of the greatest things you can teach a teenager is you get to decide what you're going to be. And my mother, I remember her telling me that over and over. You're like a blank slate when you're 13, okay? Some of you are fat, some of you are short, some of you are skinny, some of you are smarter than others. Some of you got rich parents and some of you didn't. But each and every one of you have the same thing, and that is the opportunity to create your life for yourself, to make decisions that you're going to be powerful in some things and weak in others. But in all things, you will be true to yourself. I remember my mother telling me something, and I really want and hope to share it with the next generation. You can take the high road or you can take the low road. But when you take shortcuts, you're going to pay a price. That success is the longer road. But it is the true road, and it is the road where you're true to yourself, where you have that sense of well-being and value, and that you value those people who are around you, and that you are going to create a life that you're proud of and that will work for you. My name is Opal Singleton, and this is Exploited Crimes in Technology. Stay with us, folks. We're going to be right back.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift, Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello, and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about the joy and the challenges of being a grandparent. And so I looked at this thing on Facebook. Yes, I'm one of those people on Facebook. I can't tell you I like Facebook. I'm not crazy about it. Most of you know that a couple of years ago, they took me off because they didn't like my politics of trying to say that child sex crimes should be in California serious and violent crimes. And they don't agree with that. I can't, talk about a difference in value. And they took us down, and we lost tens and tens and tens of thousands of our followers. And now we're back on, I think we got about 8,000. But I use Facebook for following my friends and showing off my glass art and things like that. And so I also were on some of those other sites that got taken down, and we're trying to rebuild them. But I'm sharing this with you because I was sharing with my producer that I am appalled at the values that we hear every night on 24/7 TV that I watch at night, or you go on to this story and that story online. And, with social media and millions of people on it, there's no accountability. There are all kinds of things that are posted on there. I think that about that because when I talk with teenagers, which I try to do a lot, first of all, I try to get as much from them as they give to me. But one of the things I'm acutely aware of this generation is that they will have more information provided to them in any one given day than any generation in history. But I contend that they are also going to have less truth. And this is where I come in the value of grandparents. I think it's absolutely critical that we understand what is taking place in this time in history. I believe we live at the most important time in all of history to be a parent or a grandparent, a teacher, a pastor, or a civic leader. Because how do we teach children discern the truth when they are bombarded? We are bombarded all day long about things that other people want to tell us. How do we get them to be able to discern what is true and what is real and what is moral and what is immoral? And here's why I share that with you, parents and grandparents. I believe how we train this generation who lives in a world without borders and a home without walls. Most of you know I have a book like that called Societal Shift. How we train this generation to discern truth and morality, including digital morality, will set the stage for generations to come. It will set the stage for their children and their children and their children. Because if you think our children are being bombarded with a lot of information, just imagine what it's going to be like in 5 years as the entire world is connected by internet, over 6 billion people. I was reading an article this week about a mother that had put her daughter, I can't remember somebody, I can't remember her last name. I want to say it's Reynolds, but that might not be right. Anyway, she had something like 119 million followers, and she's 3 years old. And the mother is making money by advertising on there and like that. And everybody wants to be an influencer. And mom is extremely successful until mom started looking at who was saving certain photos of her such as a 30-year-old eating a hot dog, and began to realize what it means to put your child online in a world without borders and a home without walls. And she is changing her mind in this. And I believe that these children that we're raising today will have more opportunity, but also more opportunity for immorality and a lack of digital values. Being busy does not mean being productive. Having the most followers does not mean that you are a leader. It just means that you have more people who can reach you and change your mind. Thinking and doing are two different things. I think that's important to talk with our kids. Our kids are forever busy. And I'm going to tell you this, I'm no different than your child. You get in the car, the first thing you do is, do I have my phone? And what's new today? And every one of us are addicted to our phone. But that also means that much of exposure to outside thinking means that more than ever in all of history, it is important for our children to understand what is strength of character, what is right and what is wrong, what is a long cut and what is a shortcut, because we're all looking for instant results because we're all addicted to social media. It is important that our children understand that we are who we are, not because of what we own, but because of who we are, what our values are. You know, our kids are going to live in a world of massive change. Every second, every nanosecond in this generation, they are going to have all kinds of opportunities to take shortcuts. And I believe as parents and as grandchildren, it is important that we understand what's important to us and make sure that is our legacy for our grandchildren. To a small child, the perfect granddad is unafraid of big dogs and fierce storms, but absolutely terrified of the word boo. I love that. A child needs a grandparent, anybody's grandparent. It says right here, to grow a little more securely in an unfamiliar word. Our kids are looking for safety, and they're not going to find safety online. We need to create safe spaces for our grandchildren where they can share with us their failings, they can share their risk-taking, and we can share with them the areas which they can be good at and those areas that they can be taken advantage of. I think that parents need to be able to create a safe space where they can give love freely and they can guide and befriend the young without having to take daily responsibility for them. But they can often reach out past pride and fear of failure and close the space between the generations. I like this quote on this section here. They're really fun. Grandchildren don't make a man feel ill. It's the knowledge that he's married to a grandmother. That'll tell you where you're at in life, okay? But it also tells you that you have a tremendous opportunity to create safe haven for your children. One of the most powerful hand clasps in the whole world is a grandbaby that closes his finger around a grandfather's finger. Nobody can do for little children what grandparents can do. Grandparents sort of sprinkle stardust over the lives of little children. Most grandparents have a touch of the scallywag in them. So it's okay that we can talk about our flaws and our failures and, you know, what has happened and what we're afraid of. Grandparents are like stars. You don't always see them, but you know it when they're there. What a bargain grandchildren are. I give them my loose change and they give me millions of dollars worth of pleasure. I love that one. An hour with your grandchildren can make you feel young again. Anything longer than that can make you start to age very quickly. I love that one here. If I had known how wonderful it would have been to have grandchildren, I'd have them first. Now that's a good quote. Grandparents hold our hearts and our hands for just a little while, but they hold our hearts forever. Folks, as grandparents, you're worth your weight in gold. You're smart, you're intelligent, and you know the value of self-worth. You know the value of hard work and self-creation and not taking those shortcuts. You know the value of what it means to overlook the shortcomings of others and accept people like they are. Let's take advantage of our age, folks. Our grandkids need us, yours and mine. My name is Opal Singleton. We're up against that break. Be right back.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at Remax Realty 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton and we're talking about the joy, the power, the privilege, the obligation, the responsibility, and the thrill and the fear of being a grandparent. The longer I go on this subject of combating human trafficking and sextortion and online child exploitation, the more I know that the bottom line in keeping a kid safe from predator is helping them develop that strength of character. I can't think of anything more that we can do. You know, I look around the world and I see what the world is teaching in the name of morality. And I don't know about you, but it saddens my heart. I look at it and I think, you know, this is so sad that we've lost our innocence, that we've lost that joy of just being good to each other. Okay, you know, we're reduced to watching videos online with little dogs and cats running around and goats doing their thing and dogs playing with whales or whatever it is that you're seeing on Facebook. All of those are good things and healthy things to share with your child, your grandchild. One of the things that I think is important is being able to let your child share with you about their pet. You can show them pictures of your dog, your cat, when you were a kid. You can show them pictures of their family, but what they need to know is that they have a safe haven within the family, that they've already started their legacy and that you are proud of them. One of the things that I believe with all my heart are the 4 most powerful words on earth are I believe in you. Many of you have heard me tell this story, but one of the things that I learned from my husband before he passed, I came home one day and he had typed out a statement, which I have here. And he said, to the most beautiful, most intelligent, hardest working woman in the world, love, Dell. And I realized when I saw that, and I keep that. And by the way, my current husband, Ken, allows and we rejoice in our previous marriages, both his and mine. But I keep that here as a testimony to the mission of Million Kids. Our role is to go out and teach kids how to keep safe from predators, not to send those naked photos, how the internet is made, where naked photos go when you hit send. And for your more mature grandchildren, I hope that you will educate yourself about how all that is and share that with your children. But at the same time you share with them, I want you to share with them about leadership, that you're expecting them to be a leader in this fast changing world that seems to have very little morality, that you're proud of them, that you can look at them and say, you know what, I believe in you. After my husband passed, I had bracelets made. And when I did a lot more private or public speaking, now we do a lot of Zooms, but we sell those bracelets online that say, Million Kids, I believe in you. I share that, especially if you know a child that's a foster child or a child from a broken home or a child that's involved in a divorcing parent, that you might purchase a bunch of those and give them out to the kids you know, that you believe in them, because that's really the joy, the value, the intense intrinsic value of being a parent, a grandparent, that they have a safe haven with you and that you're proud as punch of them and that you believe in them and that they can come and talk with you and you will help them work through it without a lot of strict judgment, that they have safe haven with you and that you know that they're going to succeed. One of the real tragedies of the digital world is kids will tell you that what they do online doesn't count because it's not real. Well, I get that. I do get that. But I also get that when you're playing video games and you're having sex with sex workers in the middle of a video game and killing cops, that instills in you a value. So if you're good at video gaming, if you're still good enough that you can go online, get them to show what games they select and what they like about it and what they don't, and talk about digital values. Will what you do online determine what kind of values you have as a person? Because I think that is just absolutely critical, that your child, they're going to be online. Let's hope they've at least been through puberty, but unfortunately, I see lots and lots of little kids online without supervision. So it's a game, mom and dad. It's a game, parents and grandparents. Get involved with their game. Talk about what's going on there. I know everybody's doing it, but everybody's doing a lot of things that doesn't bring you character. I think that being a grandparent is the greatest gift on earth, that you can set up your values, you can set up your standards, you can pass that on, you can share with them your legacy and share with them that they're creating a legacy for their future, and that you are happy that you've lived long enough to see the kind of person they're growing up to be, and be their greatest fan, okay? Be their hero. It's important that we talk about what's real, But it's also important that they have safe haven and they can share their fears and their mistakes with you and help them overcome their mistakes. My name is Opal Singleton. I am with Million Kids, millionkids.org. We've been in business about 15 years, and it's our job to sit with parents when they're missing their kids because they've gone online and ran away, or sit with grandparents who are really upset about something, and educate kids all over the world. We have a movie about to come out this fall. I've been waiting way too long for it, but it is coming, and starting to premiere at USC and also at Saddleback. If you're interested in following our work, please go to millionkids.org. You can see all about it. You'll get notified about the missing kids that are out there, and also about any kind of programs where we're doing public speaking. If you're interested in ordering our books, I'll sign them for you. We appreciate each and every one of you that support this show financially. I'll tell you, these have been really, really tough times. We've really been up against it of fighting SB 357 and getting the movie out and like that. And we're really feeling it financially. So if there's anything any of you can do to support our work, go to millionkids.org. We are a nonprofit, public benefit nonprofit, 501c3. You can go to millionkids.org and donate, or you can take the address down there and write us out a check. Or if you are with a foundation of some sort where you fund nonprofits, we could certainly use your help at this point. So the most important thing, I think, is to realize your value as a grandparent. All that experience, you're just, maybe you're older, maybe you're, more challenged technically, but tell your story, and tell the story of being proud of you and your family, all the things that went before them, and the fact that you're counting on them to lead the next generation with pride. It is really the greatest mission of all times. All of us grow up and some want to be a job, want to be successful in a career or whatever we do. But after we become grandparents, we realize that really the real legacy is not how much you made, not all the trips you took, but how much of a difference you make in other people's lives. And I know so many senior citizens out there that we travel amongst, and I'm proud of all of you. You have a story to tell. Your life is not over. Your greatest mission is right there before you. And your grandkids need you to hear that story, and also to share with them that old-fashioned values have not gone out of fashion. You are what you decide to be. Your self-worth is a decision you make. And every time you do what's right instead of what's easy, you gain character. Self-esteem isn't something you get from some TV show or whatever else you're doing on a TikTok video. Self-esteem is a decision you make yourself, and building a strong character is your greatest mission. My name is Opal Singleton. This show is called Exploited, Crimes and Technology. We are brought to you by millionkids.org. I appreciate each and every one of you that listen to this show. It is archived, by the way, at millionkids.org. You can share it with anybody you want. Thank you to each and every one of you that support this show financially. We love you. Put your arms around your family this week and let them know how much proud you are of them and how much you appreciate them. See you next Saturday at 3 o'clock on AM 590. The Answer.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the darknet will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.